It was actually perfect.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I had some bottle caps earlier, but I didn't have any drink with them. Do you guys chew your bottle caps up like all at once, or do you like let them melt?
I think you're supposed to swallow them,
Oh,
Just swallow
and
it.
then
I've heard
they fit.
some people like to like put them in their like a glass of water
Hmm.
to get the flavor.
Are they supposed to fizz when you do that?
Yeah, I think
Because
that's why they're called
they
bottle
kind of
caps
fizz in your mouth, right?
because you're supposed to like put them in the water, make it like
Smells
soda, like a
smells
soda
like
themed candy.
stinky in
Oh,
here. Smells like the green sticky in here.
I would air that out, but it's kind of cold out. You should get yourself an electric fan.
My camera
Number
actually won't
skip.
stop turning on.
Oh, elevator skip.
Oh, elevator skip. That's 19 seconds saved on that elevator there. Oh, backflip. That was 6 seconds saved. So we're making up for the 3 minutes that we lost accumulative uh
Uh,
over Koopa. This is still viable. Um, on pace for national record,
Surprisingly, not a lot of people speedrun this game.
regional record. It's actually not that hard. Like
I've
I mean,
only
I
seen
mean, it's like not a big deal that I have like a world record or anything, but like it's not
oh,
This
that
is
hard.
on. This is on pace for regional. Um,
Northwest regional, right?
Kaizo 64 completionist
Was there a
speedrun.
red coin over
100%.
here? Or I mean,
Yeah,
past this.
you got it.
Yeah, Kaizo. Like, I've
Yes.
seen
thank you,
Kaizo's runs are kind of slow.
thank you,
Yes.
Dada.
You gotta. Okay. So did you split that? Did you split the red coin one up?
I need a second. I'm pushing the numbers in right now. I'm
Okay.
plugging him in to get the
You
math
don't
here.
have the standard regional time split like ready. Like
Standard regional. Okay, that's a split there. It's 33. The split there is
you,
about
you,
8, I think.
you gotta split.
I guess split there. Oh, yeah, gotcha.
For the run up.
For the run, yeah, the run. Uh, so when are? Oh,
Oh, look at
sorry, I don't want
time
to do
loss.
that.
Time loss with the slide down the run up.
Yeah, flag that up.
Man,
Hey
they're on
Theo,
pace. They're on pace.
I'm gonna say
Right?
we should cut it
Going for
short here
the
because as soon as he
going
hits
for the
this,
fifth flip.
that's great. I think we're solid after this.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that controls didn't exactly transfer over all that well with this version.
It does have the analog
The joystick.
control.
It's
I assume
actually
you're
it's
playing with
actually
the Nintendo Switch Pro controller.
Yes.
I think it's 9.6% a little bit tighter. I think it's the
The
correct number.
joystick is just way different. It's a different experience. I think.
It's like playing a
I
different
think
game.
it's
If you've ever played Mario
I think it's
64,
13.4%.
it looks
Yes,
completely
I did
different. It
play
plays
the
completely
original.
different.
I think it's
I'd
just
say emulator is probably closer to original, but Virtual Console is probably the closest you'll get. Playing on original console is good, but the controller can be a little bit tough to deal with.
there's actually a glitch in this where Mario like looks at the camera really weird.
Oh yeah, that's right. And red coin, and that's time. We got
That's 7.
7.
12:28. That's complete there. That's complete run. Uh,
And now we're trying to remember where that last red coin is.
that's
Then
not
we have
quite regional, but
now
that's
we have
great.
the regional Kaizo Part 2
That's
speedrun.
part
So
two. Part two speedrun. That's the first part, but we're gonna cut it there because that's where it ends usually, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's where it ends.
all right.
It's pretty solid. If you ask me.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so the
What
stream
star
is
is
up.
this?
I think this is red coin star.
Oh, okay.
Is that 4? Or is it 3? Or am I done?
3. It's 4. Actually 4.
8.
That's a complete 4-star run, man. Not
Yeah.
BLG up the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Try BLJ into the frame.
Okay, found out where I'm having issue. I'm not used to basically I'm actually turning around to turn around.
Right?
Mm.
If you
If you
let your
BLJ, if
character,
you activate a Mario long jump, which is running and holding crouch and then hitting jump, what you
It's
can
actually
do is,
a common Mario 64 complaint is you
yeah,
hear all
they
the
don't
top
like that.
streamers. You hear all the top streamers going, "Oh man, I can't. I tried to turn around, but I turned around."
Hmm. I'd say the main issue there is just a lack of like a lot of games nowadays have like really unreasonable physics. Like they try to get close to the original real life style physics, but I feel like Mario 64 kind of had it down because Mario, when you turn the stick, he doesn't
Turns
he doesn't
around.
yeah, he turns around and it's
Yeah,
it's like it's
like
like a it's like a 18 frame animation or something when most games
all, all,
usually only have like 10 frames on
all
the
the
rotation.
all the
if
new
you
Mario
let him,
spin-offs are really just not doing it in
Yeah.
terms of the Mario. Like
You see,
Cyberpunk did not really
it takes like
capture the essence
that's
of
like
Mario
they
really
tried
at
their
all.
best. I think they got like 15 frames for turning around,
Mario
which
game
winks
still
is
to the
is.
more
sky.
cyberpunk than cyberpunk. Like
I'd
that's
agree.
Yeah,
cyberpunk right there.
I mean,
Yeah,
Like this
that's
isn't
Cyberpunk
this isn't widescreen like the Game Boy Advance.
Cyberpunk has good shooting and shit and stuff. Like you can drive him. That's cool and all, but it's not very Mario-esque.
Hmm.
Yeah, they
I don't
did.
know why they would.
They, s-
I don't know why
I
they're
don't know
so
why they
boldly claiming.
promise.
I don't
They
know why they're so
promise
boldly
Mario.
claiming that it's a Mario clone.
I think they went in for
Um,
Keanu Reeves and ended up kind of like.
I think it's kind of bizarre
Impressive.
Mhm.
that they
So
said it's
so
It's like
supposed to
a
be an
different
homage to
kind of
Mario 64.
fan.
the way they got around that was to
hey.
use Mario's long jump mechanics to their advantage. Now they took it out of this game, but there's still ways to get around it. One of them is to activate a BLJ on the elevator down there. It's quite easy. But you see, this cancels Mario's backwards momentum and actually allows him to move backwards without having to turn around, which is a game changer for the physics of this game. Because the main issue with people having Mario turn around, if they activate a BLJ, they're actually moving Mario in the opposite direction, contrary to the camera facing him. You see those elevators there, if you were to activate a BLJ on them, you'd be able to conserve momentum to the point that Mario could be launched quite far across the map. And despite them trying their best efforts, Nintendo cannot be bested when it comes to exploits.
I believe they call that the Jogi effect.
Yeah, frame skip Jogi. It's initiated because every other frame, when the
Ooh.
jump is
That was
activated,
awesome.
that was a snipe. That was a
Yep,
stream
aim for the
snipe, you could call it.
treetop. Okay, I know there's some more in the upper angle, but I'm gonna
One
have
of
to
the
shoot mind.
yeah, the render distance
That's,
is a huge issue with this game.
uh-oh. Oh.
Despite running on superior hardware with the Nintendo Switch, it just can't
I
handle.
would I would probably get the Chomp Star and then get that star when you get Ring Cap.
If you get 5 stars, then you can go into pretty much any painting in the main hall.
Yeah, but you need 10 to get the Wing Cap. I think, right?
Is it 10?
It's either 10 or like
It is 10:08.
I thought it was 5.
Oh, the number of stars, not the time. Okay then.
A little bit of a mix-up there.
it's how many stars you need for Wing Cap. I forget. I thought it was 10.
It might be 10.
Hello and welcome to Yoda Soda Creations, the podcast. Group of friends to which the business talk movies, TV, older recent. Glad to welcome our guests again. Glad to welcome Elf Club back again.
Always
Mhm.
glad to be here. This is the most fun I've had for a while.
Right.
Pleasure.
We're here speedrunning Mario 64.
Yes, speed running.
Yeah, with a
You
special
can't see
guest.
it, but I was using finger quotes.
Oh, yeah.
We're speedrunning Mario 64. We have Asa here as the official timekeeper.
Yeah. Former speedrunner, still current world record holder despite
World
not
record holder
returning.
for the Penguin for Penguin any percent.
Yeah, Cool Mountain is kind of my home terrain. You could say. Not to mention I can play it on the accordion and the piano
Right.
and music to it, but it doesn't
Yeah.
really.
This
I mean,
is an official notarized
Ooh.
speedrunning time.
it doesn't improve your
No, see
strats,
that?
but
No, that's what I call a
uh,
time loss.
I know
it
that
is a
feel.
time loss. But the time
That's what
spent with our
borderline
friends,
is.
the time spent with our friends is what really matters. Now, I want to know: is it
Yeah.
okay if we share the stream with our good friends over on our Discord? Because I'm sure they'd love to see us play Mario.
You
Quite
have
big fans.
the link is in the server.
Yes, yes. Just asking for permission because I respect your
The more,
opinions.
the more people we can get in, the better.
Yeah, we happen to have over 50 people in our server. I'm sure some of them will be interested.
Eggs are burning.
Yeah,
Rub
like, just for
icy
everyone's
hot.
information, I haven't played Mario 64 in like over a decade, so I'm a bit rusty.
He's still on pace for regional Kaiser record though.
Yeah, if you were playing Kaizo, it would be like still pretty good. I think that runs like a was that like a
This is
20-minute
Kaiser.
run? I
This
forget.
is Kaiser Junior.
Otherwise known as Mario
Junior.
64, otherwise known as Kaizo Junior. Now that's a good time skip right there.
Nice.
How much does that
Oh,
cut
there
off
you
again?
go. Dude,
How much does
you
that cut off?
got back on your butt. That was perfect.
The Mario butt slide is marginally faster.
If you hold forward, you go faster.
You can actually jump if you're in the slide.
Oh,
See, I think you would that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. I was a little afraid there for a second.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Don't forget you can activate a ground pound when you grab the star to make Mario hit the ground faster. Yeah, there you go. That's a like 2-frame save actually.
So I have that like tube in my head,
Oh yeah,
and
from your visit.
yeah,
Is that
well, no, not no, no,
Yeah.
no. That's way long ago.
It's draining.
My recent, yeah,
your recent one?
um,
I'm
it's
sure
hurting
I've
really bad right now.
He has to drain. He has to drain the fluid.
Well, I don't want to talk about it. I just wanted to say that my head hurts. I might.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry that we kind of put you up to this, Gabe.
Didn't put me up to it. I don't believe
Sorry, you
that.
have to have fluid removed from your head.
So I don't want to talk about it. It's not
One more
funny.
thing. When we're moving forward, get this going. From this day forth, I believe announcing a bit of a format change.
Oh,
Especially since we have guests. I've noticed recently the going over the news notes has been going over the news notes takes pretty long, and especially noting that on occasion we've had limited time frames when it comes to guests. So I figured I'd shift that. Back a bit to say after we finish with the main topic of the night.
I screwed up. I lost the penguin.
That's a little embarrassing to lose the penguin in the presence of
Penguin Master.
penguin.
oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, missed the clip there, just by like a frame, I think.
But yeah,
That's what I
for
get
the,
for trying to skip.
but
It's
yeah,
like
for
a pixel perfect clip.
Doctor
yeah.
told me to put cayenne pepper on my legs, and it was burning really bad.
But yeah, from this day forth, news is going to be later. So with that out of the
See,
way,
this is Asa's whole thing. This
Yeah,
penguin right here.
like, this
Him,
is, like-
this penguin and Asa have spent many nights together.
Many. It's probably like at least 300 hours now. I've spent practicing penguin run.
Oh, be careful.
Gabe, I
So
don't
That was using. If
I
you
don't
use
know
Jogi
what
effect right
doctor
here, you
you're
can save him. If you use Jogi, oh, okay.
I don't know what doctor you're talking to, but
He's
Pepper
the best
doesn't sound
one.
like the best method.
He's the best one. Dr. Oz.
You're telling me you listen to Dr. Oz? Like that quack?
No, I go to him. That's what my aunt told me. His name. I just heard he was a good doctor.
So wait, how much is that a visit? Is your Medicare taking care of that?
I don't pay for it.
Don't forget the uses of the Jogi effect. Okay, I mean it's actually super useful.
I don't know what the Jogi effect is.
It's
I'm talking to the Mario Meister right now.
it's every other frame skip technique.
Oh, okay.
It's for Penguin Run mostly, but it's
You
used in lots
can
of
use
other
it.
stuff.
It's actually heavily used in 1 star. Yes, right here. If you jump off to the left, you can use Mario's momentum, and oh, but you see, you don't hit the jump button. Actually, Mario's will bounce on his own, and then he'll slide up and hit the edge there. You just don't hit the jump button.
Yeah, using Jogi, you can definitely do that easily.
Yeah, the Jogi, you actually do it. You actually do it from right where you grab the penguin. You jump off to the right, and then you can get right to that ledge from the right there. It's that
Jogi
that slope right there.
condition.
Yeah, you jump right there, and then make sure not to lose the penguin. You oh that can happen where Mario gets stuck, but you see right here you go down, then there's the slope, and you can use that to carry momentum all the way
You get
up
one
to
up
the
skip,
mama.
and then you go.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
You see the long jump is really important there. There's actually a secret star hidden at the bottom of the map if you use the flower to go over the edge, and the long jump is actually required for that one.
I swear, this penguin is the bane of my existence.
He's the opposite to me. Although I don't know if you can say that because the amount of times I've ended its life, a little bit suspicious there.
I'd say 2020 would be the bane of most everyone's existence.
Say what?
Very fun little character.
Well, 2020 was a thing. That's all we can say. Well, 2020 was a thing. Pressurized the.
No,
Quite the
I think in Penguin Run, I know it's quite unorthodox, but I think you could go for the Migtonian technique.
Legs hurt.
Mm.
I've
Gabe?
never heard of that one. Yeah.
Gabe,
what
you
do
should
mean?
I can hear you. You should probably get some like cool lip or something.
Save yourself,
I got icy
penguin.
hot.
I
Icy hot.
I see that won't work, Gabe. It's not for your leg.
You have to use MGTOW technique to get this guy out of there.
It's deep heat, actually, not icy hot. Sorry.
Wait, what?
There you go,
Well,
you
that
got him.
Heat.
Deep. That could work actually.
He did it.
The MGTOW
The cycle. No, not the MGTOW can't solve everything, but yeah, the DP that can actually. Oh, once again, you don't. Yeah,
Oh, see, no, he got juggied.
it's a horrible position to be in. That's the worst. Now there is. I've pulled it off. When they get stuck there, you can actually fall off the edge from the top, and on your way grab him and pull him back up. But
Yeah,
that
I'll be right
requires
back. I'm gonna restart this on the computer because my phone's gonna die.
ledge clip. All right.
Okay.
The sad thing is, I vaguely remember when I first played this on the N64, I didn't have as much issue with this. So I'm gonna blame the port.
I've actually done the penguin skip on the port, and it's not my favorite. I've gotten like around 6 minutes on penguin skip in the past. Probably around 6:30.
Game over.
We can
that's,
thankfully we can thankfully say
little-
that we can thankfully say that soon to 2020, which has been quite the year. We had a bit of a bit of a pressurized election, which should mostly be behind us now, unless something comes up from certain, you know what.
Yeah, those guys are kind of.
We came to some unexpected conditions, and some that were expected, but kind of heightened due to conditions that came before which.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, balancing everything, it's a little bit of a challenge, but it all works out in the end. As long as you keep a positive attitude, and what helps me get through times like these is a good old fashioned uh, escapism method or mechanism. Could be Mario, could be uh, talking to my friends, it can be watching TV. Now you see,
Plus alcohol.
you have to turn Mario's momentum forwards when you do that.
And of course, we had.
Working on that. The controls are
You gotta pull a full rotation on the analog stick. It's like an 80.
Never tried this junk.
me neither.
And well,
The one that works better is off of the other side.
If you can get onto the top of that, can you long jump to it?
Yeah, you can right from the right there. You can actually long jump from that side on the right there to skip over to the elevator as well. That's what most
It's
runners do
kind
if
of
they're playing
crazy,
for
dude.
no
It's
skip.
kind of sweet.
I swear,
It's
Mario
like
feels like it feels slippery even when not on ice.
mm, I have a soft spot for games that feel that way.
I'm sorry. Pardon me.
Gabe.
I was just bending over to grab my charger.
I guess in this case, somebody either smeared Jello or Crisco.
Mm.
Anyway, the last unfortunate, although this one's yearly, large, unfortunate large account of celebrity deaths, which we will get to later, for this week at least. But that's not to say. But there's not to say there's been shimmers in these dark times. At least
Yes.
one convention. At least one convention is under our belts this year, depending on the. That is if you had. That is if they were. That is if they were before things started to escalate.
I don't know if you could really call it a convention, but earlier before things got very rough, there was a small. It was probably around April, a small little gathering I managed to make too, with Theo. Gabe was unfortunately unable to make it there, but the refreshments were provided throughout the night, and I must say, I got to have a lot of fun that time.
I'm thinking
Oh,
of
with
the
a
or is it the
Jogi-Con?
booths that do
Yeah,
that?
that was like JogiCon kind of. You could say I got hella turned at that one.
Funny image.
That image?
Funny imagery you sent me.
Yeah. Uh, mhm. I gotta say, 2020 was kind of rough. Oh, oh, yeah. For
Sorry.
all of us here, we had financial issues. health issues. A lot of us have our own stuff going on. Our good friend Isaac has been in horrible shape throughout the whole year, and I think it's just getting worse for him. He just proposed yesterday to his fiance.
I'm back.
He's just in the legal
We were
limit to
just
do so.
yeah, he's
Oh,
just
we're in Womp
Legal
Town.
range.
we just started talking about our friend Isaac Collins.
Oh,
Shouts out.
he just got engaged. Congratulations, Isaac Collins.
Yeah, publicly congratulations to Isaac, and also shaming him for doing so without us, without our consent.
Without our permission.
But you know,
It's the
in all,
consequences
in
of
all
jump.
honesty, congrats all Isaac Collins. Congrats Bertha Smith on getting engaged.
Rodrigo the second, as she likes to go by sometimes.
Asa, did you have you been keeping up with the skips and stuff? And
No, he got part one down as the regional for Kaizo, and I decided to call it quits there
okay, are we?
because I feel like we have some more topics
Oh.
that we could cover because I think he's managing his own splits.
Okay.
So we were just going over kind of our own issues and hardships that I could come up individual financial issues are we lost internet for a while, we lost electricity for about a week even.
Ooh.
That was really rough.
2020's been beating us down.
We're gonna keep getting back up though.
Like
Personally,
Mario just did.
Yeah, Mario doesn't give up, so why should
Mario just keeps getting up. He doesn't
Yep.
stop.
As
Sometimes
personal
we
mod.
get knocked down, but we get back up again. They're never gonna
Mhm.
keep us down.
You're right. It's 100% right.
Between keeping tabs and caring for my 93-year-old elderly grandmother and my disabled 55-year-old or no 56-year-old father, both of which are unable to care for themselves, on top of managing a full course load of senior year in high school and also college at the same time, and then also managing a part-time job over the internet, and also managing Elf Club, and keeping up with being the state champion for return tops yo-yoing, and also my music, and also my art, and also my gaming. A little bit to keep up with, but I just don't quit. I don't sleep. I don't rest. I got to keep going, like Mario over here. And I feel like that's the best way to handle things. Is just never give up, never stop. You just got to pound 2020 into the ground until you're ready for a fresh year. Now, the one thing
Which is soon.
I didn't manage to achieve my 2020 goal of gaining a partner, but I'm not gonna rush that. That was the one goal I wasn't able to reach this year. But I made
Pleasure.
tons of very close friends over the year, people that I would trust my life with.
You know,
I
I'm
s-
gonna switch over to something that I'm actually good at.
Whoa. Okay, this is unorthodox.
Mm,
Mario is tagging out for Link.
Right. That's actually kind of a solid play.
works.
Plays Mario.
Please.
But
In fact, I'm one of the weird types that actually preferred Sunshine over 64.
Well, you could have played Sunshine, right?
That's me. I love that game.
And that's one of the reasons why Gabe isn't actually allowed over at my house on his own.
Yeah.
He has to come with Thea. I don't
Yeah,
trust him with my
Gabe's-
stuff. I feel like people who prefer Sunshine might be like something like klepto or something like that.
Stop. Stop. You're mean to me.
I'm not mean to you. It's funny that you think that. You can't believe you think such a thing. Honestly, it's amusing.
64, I just find that it seems that Sunshine had slightly more refined controls.
Ooh.
I'd say that they worked hard on making the controls more understandable for the GameCube controller, which is undoubtedly, objectively, a much better control interface. Although, one of Sunshine's main flaws is that it was incredibly rushed and built off of Mario 64's engine. making it prone to frame dropping and tons of bugs.
It wasn't built off its engine, but I know it was built with the reused code. Like
Reuse code,
they
yes.
took code. They took code from the. My legs are itching.
Stop putting cayenne pepper on them.
Oh, stop.
I don't quite
That's
get
that part
why
of my life.
you mean like 3 hours ago.
Rub mustard. My legs.
I gotta admit we've dropped down to like a good solid like 3, 4, 5 FPS.
Yeah, the frame rate on my side is also
Yeah,
very
the frame
bad.
rate has
It's also that way on the stream coming up on YouTube.
PowerPoint slideshow.
That's where I
Never seen
cannot
gameplay
win.
of this game.
It's actually Fire Emblem like that. Fire Emblem
Wait.
Warriors is a great game for the
You
Nintendo
said
Switch.
Fire Emblem, and I believe that this was Fire Emblem for a second.
There is
I've
a
never
Fire
seen
Emblem
footage
Warriors
of this
game. Fire Emblem Warriors on the Switch is quite fun.
That's cool.
It's
These
the
games all seem
Elgato.
pretty good.
The Elgato is El Biente tonight.
El Diente.
Yeah, it's like I'm hoping
There's
by March
gas
I'll have a
in
new
there.
device to capture with.
There's the settings in OBS where you can go, and it's like where it says like frame rate, and where it says like what is it, unlimited, you want to cap that and like set it at like 30 or 24.
In OBS. I'm in the Elgato program.
You see, that's the issue, is that that'll cause you to get these frame drops.
Have you guys been getting the same bug where your camera just turns on for no reason?
Yeah. I
Really?
think that's an Android issue, isn't it?
I don't have Android. I have
That's
an
like
iPhone.
an Android virus. My dad got that, and it was like turning on his flashlight on its own, and then
wow.
he'd get really angry and throw his phone, and he actually made the speaker dislodge. I had to fix it.
Oh, did you actually fix it?
Yeah, he thought the Democrats were spying on him.
He took it to Collins Tech and they fixed it.
No, that was before
Tech is
Collins Tech was
defunct.
founded.
Collins Tech is not. No,
It doesn't exist anymore, dude. Not after the ordeal.
Not after the incident.
Now, to touch on that a little bit more, Isaac Collins is no longer a free man, and what are your thoughts on that, guys?
He's a slave.
I think it's funny.
I think he's a slave. Maybe, you know, that I hadn't thought about that. It's possible that that's Isaac's reasoning. Maybe all the Christian repression has led him down a path of sin.
I'm using the Elgato program because I can actually get full screen on this.
Sweet.
It's a good. I think it's an okay trade-off for the massive frame drops. So, on the topic of animation, I've recently expended all of my fundings. Oh, there we go. It's great. Expend things to
I
Sorry, I seem to be crashing here.
Yeah,
I think there's some sort of.
I don't know
incident.
why, but with Discord, it's like, oh, you're sharing your screen. Oh well, in about a half hour to an hour, I'm just gonna, reboot.
Yeah,
That's lame.
it's kind of like a troll, honestly.
I think there are Discord trolls to control everything.
I think that's only present on his end of the system because usually I work okay. But there's one thing I've also noticed. Can't be alone in the call for more than 5 minutes. You got to make sure someone else is with you within 5 minutes, or call it.
Yeah. So
Frame rate is
I
really
recently expended all of my funds to purchase a Cintiq tablet, well, knockoff
wow.
Cintiq. Yeah,
I didn't
and
know
that device, you guys haven't had a chance to see it yet, but it does work. It does work if you know what I'm saying. And in my own personal animation career, I would be delighted to work on more projects next year because I didn't quite have the right tools this year, or the right storyboards. Now, Gabe, over to you on why your storyboards never were completed for this year. I don't mean to put you on the spot or anything. Like I don't want to
Sure.
pressurize you, but I do want to like maybe now's a good time to tell me why those were never.
To be honest, the honest 100%, truth is that things have just been kind of rough.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I see myself doing it in the future, like very soon. Honestly, I'm back home.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything because I wasn't home for a while, like for like 3 months almost.
Mhm.
So probably I could do that very soon. Within potentially even this week, I can start.
I feel
Think.
you. I don't mean to put on a double standard because I know that I've uh heartfeltly honestly felt some tension between all of my responsibilities and slipped up on things that weren't absolutely essential. They say you know you've completed your training, but at what cost? I've finished up a good few of my loose ends for 2020 with the free time I've had, but ended up losing a lot of uh, people throughout that journey. Oh,
Like I've been
ooh.
like I've
I
been
actually haven't even had access to paper to draw on while I was here. Also, like I've been out of paper because Pap
I
uses
can
so much.
I can mail you
So,
paper.
no, it's okay. I'll be good. I've been scrawling on the walls and typing a typewriter.
What's that called? ASCII art?
I've been doing ASCII art.
I can't believe you do that. Like legitimately? Or is that a gag? Is that a gag? Please tell me that's a gag.
I actually was interested in ASCII for a little bit, but not really.
It's like some
Okay.
sort of like Mictonian like relic of
It was
our art
lost.
form.
It was lost
It's not.
medium.
You go to fucking. Oh, sorry, I said a bad word. It's just.
Gabe! What are you doing? You're making us look bad, dude.
I'll go. I'm just gonna.
How about you put? Is there a timeout channel here? We put him in timeout for like, yeah, that works for like a minute. So where were we, Theo? Talking about art, right? And animation. Our animations were kind of non-existent. We started about 5 projects, and none of them were finished by the end of the year. However, they're all close to completion. I ended up spending a lot of time reminiscing on older ordeals. Not enough time spent on new ventures. And I also spent about 600 hours playing Call of Duty Warzone this year.
Hmm.
So that's probably also a bit of a time loss.
I've been mostly speedrunning Willy Wombat.
Is that what you've been doing?
Yeah, you know that. Like you watch my streams.
I watch your streams, but like, is that really what you're gonna say here? Like, you're not gonna talk about your you know who?
Um,
Am I not allowed to mention that?
what?
I'm not gonna say it without your permission, but
Well,
it's like,
text it to me first.
anyway. Like I said,
What is
we've
this?
at least got some of us at least have one event under our belt, one public event under our belts this year. Uh,
Mhm.
if
Yeah,
things hold,
sure.
if things hold up, D, if things hold up, DC things in DC should flip. And the movie industry has actually benefited from this whole crisis in some ways.
I don't know if I can say that. Our local movie theater has been in shambles. I'm actually personal friends with the owner, and they've been doing whatever they can to get people in the theater. I'm horrified that the theater is going to be closing down soon, going out of business.
I was
Yeah.
more referring to studios because
Ah,
I still remember at least one news note I caught once that project was in some ways rough and unfinished, so they're benefiting from this whole crisis by tying up some loose ends and making it more finished, somewhat. Probably, well, to a point where they think that ratings will probably be better.
pull them
So,
back in.
oh, go ahead.
I'm saying we should pull him back in. I think it's been long enough. He's been in timeout for like a good solid 3 minutes now.
So, quick question: when I was playing Mario, was it also lagging?
No, it was fine. You see, the issue is you were trying to play Zelda while you were running Mario, and I think it was lagging your game.
Actually, I have a theory.
Hmm.
I'm thinking that this might be a 60 FPS game, and Discord's capped to 30.
As far as I know, the Switch can't run 60. Can it? Can it, Theo?
Yeah,
Wait, really?
I believe.
Oh, okay. We pulled him. We put him
Some
back
sort
in.
of technical difficulty. I don't understand what even happened.
We put you in timeout. You weren't allowed in for until the time was up. You're not gonna say any more words, are you?
It says
You're not gonna...
most
I didn't.
Nintendo Switch games support.
I didn't know that even happened. I apologize.
That's why we put you in timeout.
I didn't know that happened. I feel really bad now.
Now, did anyone have any funny stories about maybe possibly forgetting their masks when going to the grocery store? Now, that's a 2020 topic if I've ever heard one. I had that happen to me once when I got to go pick up a pizza at our local pizzeria. Now, that was quite unfortunate that I didn't have the mask, but luckily, my good friend Theo happened to have a mask with him, and we were able to get the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really big guy that laughed at my mask. So I never went back outside.
Which mask was it again? Was it the one with the
Which
picture on it?
mask? It was the one that's covered in Steelers memorabilia.
No, no, not that one. That was the one you got after. I'm talking about the one with the
I
cartoon
have
on.
one of every sports team.
No, no, no. The cartoon girls on it. Is that why
The
you know?
no, it was the Surf's Up mask.
Oh, the one you made the repurposed Surf's Up bed sheets into a mask.
Yes.
Man, it's like
I'm glad you
upcycling.
remember.
That's
I have
upcycling.
a Cars one.
I wouldn't forget that.
I have a Cars one. I have a Thomas one. I have a
Ooh.
JJ is a jet plane one too. I'm proud of all of them. But yeah, I use the sheets. Fitted sheets don't work.
You have the filter underneath, right? Like the legendary filter.
No, I have a hole in the center.
So you can smoke your cigs. Right?
No, no, no. He doesn't. He doesn't do that.
I do. I don't. I need a second.
He's the pen, the vapor pen, right?
No, I don't vape. I smoke.
Wait, then who is it? Wait, what? Wait, you do the menthols.
I don't think we should talk about this.
I'm concerned about you. Cause I thought, then who vapes?
Don't smoke cigarettes either. I smoke fucking big cigars.
getting back on topic,
Right.
even though even though traditionally this end of the decade was not exactly the end of the decade we were expecting, the animation industry has definitely seen a lot of improvements over time.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of big,
So many
lo-
releases. Can't even count. It's my life. That's my everything.
lots of big hits, some misses that even some actually went pretty obscure, surprisingly. In fact, there was barely any. In fact, there was barely any advertising for certain ones.
Mm-hmm.
Bad. It was a bad year.
It's just it's the transition.
And well, CG seems to be the most prominent piece of the industry. Seems to be taking prominence in terms of the animated movie scene. Thankfully there's been some signs of resurgence in terms of traditional animation. So, although it's most likely that we are
I gotta
seeing
say,
it
like
seeing it as a once in a while kind of thing.
CG is just. It was ever since that Despicable Me movie came out. That film, it just blew. It blew up. It like made CG popular, and it's like it feels like we haven't had anything since. It's all been just like some variation on the Despicable Me formula since that one came
Capitalized.
out. It's like flanderized, and
Yeah.
CG takes no skill aside, at least on the uh, the animation side. There's like, I understand the art behind it, but compared to 2D animation, I can't see. I look at it as a technical showcase. We can make CG look what you'd call realistic, but is that really what we want out of our cartoons? Isn't the entire point of a
It's
cartoon
much
to escape
cheaper.
reality? It's much cheaper. It's much more efficient, and people think it looks better because the untrained eye will always choose the 3D graphic. Now that's where
Convenience.
independent animation and series have really had their time to shine elsewhere. Much more accessible now.
Sonic.
The Sonic movie.
How did you think that
Don't even
was?
get me started on hybrids.
Hybrid strains.
Hybrid sites.
Brain straining.
You should drink something.
The tap water is actually poison. I cannot drink that. Either that or soda.
Oh,
I think our good friend left.
oh man,
Did he?
shame.
Can't tell.
I think he left.
I literally have 1 inch of screen space so I can actually see my phone signals.
Hmm.
Oh, we have a
Oh,
visitor.
did you fix it? Surprised. It's a bit of a shock. Now, one project we weren't able to quite reach our mark on was the whole Train Boy 54 fiasco. You and I put a lot of effort into research, and it really went not very far as we were kind of blocked off by a lot of the members of that community. I try to stay away from the drama as much as I can. I don't really like being in the spotlight because uh, it's not really my speed. And as soon as you get involved in independent creators who are very passionate about their work, it becomes very easy to get yourself in some hot water very quickly without intending such.
Understand.
I'm all about staying open and positive, and I can't really see myself uh, getting upset with them. John really did stand his ground on what he was comfortable and not comfortable with, and I think that's fine. But I'm always open to him coming to us at any point. I will always reach out with open arms for him. I'm sure Theo feels the same way, although he is
Theo's
muted.
snoring right now.
Yeah, he's muted. Theo, he's over in Oklahoma, so been a rough day for him, traveling and everything. Not a safe thing to do. He can't hear us, so it's okay for me to say that.
Well, as the medium con- well, as the medium continues to evolve, it's naturally works that a lot of people who have a tendency to talk about the medium tend to go over the last decade, year by year, pick out where the medium has reached its heights and medium had reached its lows.
I feel like we kind of peaked with what is it? The best one. Can't even pick. I've seen so many at this point. Ooh, it's a toughie. What would you say,
Specifically
Gabe?
traditional animation or just animation in general?
Like, that's a good question.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
I
I was
believe
asking.
I believe it's traditional. Is what they were referring to.
Oh well. Oh man.
It's too tough.
Well,
It's hard.
going to 2011, that was quite an interesting year when it came to animation. They were
That was
quite
Fish Hooks, and the 3DS, and Sonic Generations. Good year.
on the movie. I suppose in those areas on the movie scene, it was quite interesting. There were certain areas where there were certain areas that had a bit of a mixed opinion. They were later on some things started to drop a bit, but by the end of the year, thankfully, there came one film that managed to pretty much change our pretty much managed to turn things around quite quickly, especially given how the type of animation they use, especially given the type of animation they use, because prior to that, which I will get to later, there was one film that didn't quite that made us think, this. Well, prior to that, there was one film that made us film that wasn't exactly the meh. One film that one film that first one that one film that pretty much made us realize a certain studio wasn't exactly the was showing its age, showing its
Maturity.
basic. Basically, that was their final nail in the basically that was sort of their final nail in the coffin. The one thing that turned it around that same year though, although at the tail end, coming from Spielberg, Jackson, and Wet Spielberg, Jackson, in association with Weta Digital, Tintin.
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 I'm glad we reached that point. That's a good
I'm
discussion.
sorry I lagged out. The internet here in Oklahoma is it's not that great.
Yeah, it seems like you're lagging a little bit from the jet too.
Yeah, I'm
Tintin was
tired.
excellent. I'll have to rewatch it someday. I saw it when it came out.
Yeah,
Well,
I love Tintin. It managed to capture the 2D spirit of the original source material without going for that disgusting Illumination style Madagascar looking CG. It kept the spirit and it managed to pull off something spectacular.
They
And it
put the
had a
characters. Oh, sorry.
an amazing adaptation, game adaptation as well.
Oh, really? I've
Yes.
never played the game.
I'll
I've seen many copies of the game.
I'll link you to it sometime on Vims.
Sweet. I really like the character design. I like how it's
Yeah.
like realistic people, but it's still recognizably, the characters.
It's I feel like the most base level comparison. Oh, sorry about that. That's the e-car. We got a siren going off. One siren means that there is an ambulance going for something somewhere. That's not good. Uh, but we can say our prayers for them. Hopefully they make it to the hospital. Okay. Now I feel like the most base level comparison would be Lupin the Third's theatrical adaptation. I feel like it definitely took some cues from Tintin in terms of. I mean, I've been talking a lot about how they adapted the source material, but overall, that film maybe a little bit weak in the plot aspect. If I recall correctly, it's been quite a while. Definitely not a flub. Definitely not a dud. Absolutely worth watching, in my opinion.
Yes, that's what a lot of people used to say. That's what a lot of people sometimes say when it comes to the story of. Sometimes say when it comes to the story of Indiana Jones, which even when it came out, a lot of people were making comparisons to Tintin, and that was partially the inspiration for Spielberg to get the rights.
He did that.
I wasn't aware.
That's news to me. Whoa, blasted.
But yes, that was a. But yes, that was quite the much needed turnaround considering what came earlier that year with the same animation style, different director, different studio, as well as some person I know who direct, directed one of my favorite Christmas films, and it honestly kind of sucks that they ended. Honestly, kind of sucks that this. Honestly, kind of sucks that the performance basically semi-ended that part of his career. Semi-ended that part of his career at least. But yeah, Tintin was the much needed turnaround after the disappointment that was Ours Needs Moms.
Oh my
my
goodness, I remember
Oh,
watching that.
Mars Needs Moms
I
is one of
remember.
the greatest theatrical pieces of
I haven't
media.
watched it.
Yeah, I actually went to the theater to see that one.
It's a bold
With
claim to pull out.
I have 6 Mars Needs Mom posters hanging up in my room.
You don't. It's
you don't
card
need to
posters.
you don't need to exaggerate, but
Yeah, dude, because listen,
You have one poster.
Seth Green's performance in Mars Needs Moms is one of the greatest performances I think.
the siren, the siren's going off again.
That's the Theo
That's
sirens.
to
They're gonna
me.
pick them up.
Two
Is it,
no
is it,
no
is it
no.
the someone has a bad take alarm?
One siren means an ambulance, an e-car call. Two sirens is a life light, and three sirens is a fire. Now, the fact that this has gone off twice in succession, but not at the same time, means that whoever you see our e-cars are actually a volunteer firefighters. So, whoever the call is for, the volunteer firefighters might not be willing to go see them right away, which means they're still waiting. If we can say a real time prayer for these whoever this car is for, because right now they are in distress waiting for their ambulance.
I'm just looking at screenshots from Mars Needs Moms. It's really disappointing.
Amen.
Not a biblical man. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, silent prayer.
I'm not religious.
Now, one other notable release of
Actually,
2011 besides Mars Needs Moms is Persona 4, the animation.
Yes.
not seen it. I didn't know that was real.
You didn't? Oh, you may have seen Persona 5 the animation because I've sent you some of those
Yeah.
episodes. But
Yeah,
Persona
I've
4
seen them.
very solid. Probably better than Persona 5 in some regards. It's one of those I can come back to and rewatch, which I can't say for a lot of those types of shows. Story based.
Also, on a brighter note, there's always that one in the center, that one film with a certain art style, that certain animation style that comes with. I know that has once again showed us that this kind of medium at this point is going to come theatrically at least once in a while.
Oh no. That means that whoever is waiting for their car is still oh that's not good. I hope that isn't my mom. Because she's not gonna give me any.
Uh, but but yeah, in the clouds of, in the clouds of space, the clouds of their attempts at space, there was thankfully that most recent visit to the 100-acre wood known as Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, I remember that. I actually saw that. I saw that in the theater. Did you go see it too?
No, but I went and saw Space Chimps.
Oh, Space Chimps. Let's go. I
Oh,
uh I saw that in the theater too. It scarred me. I had nightmares for like a week from that one scene. Actually, I mean, not to get too in depth, uh, but it actually uh, kind of stuck with me for a good decade before I was able to overcome it by rewatching the film. That one scene with the I mean, not for anyone who's vor sensitive, but the monster who swallows I Edison Watson. Watson. I apologize, Watson. That scene did very much scary, but Space Jams 2 and 3 they weren't as scary.
I'm just slightly thankful that Vanguard Animation has better things under their plate, including better things under their plate. Valiant being a prime example of their better work.
Oh, what, Space Jam?
PogChamp? PogChamp?
I'm gonna get sick. I'm feeling very good. I might have to go.
Oh, that's okay.
Anyways, on to 2012. That was a little interesting to say the least. Apart from the election year, there was obviously certain myths going about that thankfully were proven false. Brownie fandom started to get a bit more started getting a bit more traction, even though despite all the negativity and despite all the news constantly trying to punch us down.
I don't really trust that type of news.
And that was the year, and then of course that was the year where the Marvel Cinematic Universe really blasted off.
Now I know there was an animated character in that. It was like the green one thing. The Hulk. Yes, the Hulk. Now I know he's animated. He's not a real person. He's like a computer generated being. But I don't know if we can really consider that. Although the MCU did spawn in some animated adaptations, did it not?
John Hulk is the actor. Live action actor.
Live action? They did a live action?
Yeah.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
And surprisingly, going back to something I mentioned earlier, all the positives managed to outrun whatever minimal advertising there was in terms of the lower ends of animation that came out that year. Because one of the one of the big things that came out that one of the big things that came out that year that was one of the big things that came out that year, quite ahead of here, had a great voice cast, nice mixture in terms of cultures being brought together, as well as cultures being brought together, and cultures being brought together, as well as an interesting take on these an interesting take on particular myths regarding certain holidays and whatnot. The film that I would choose that defines animation that year, Rise of the Guardians.
Now that was another one we
Oh,
can
that's
discuss this. I saw that in theaters. Not to be
I am thinking of the right movie, right?
the one with the owls.
Yeah, with the owls. Yes.
I
That
get
was
it confused with
excellent.
the other one that has the Sandman and Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy in it.
That's what I
Oh
was.
yeah.
That's
Oh, is that
Oh,
what
and
you're
Jack
talking
Frost.
about?
Yeah, Jack Frost, Santa, and Sandman,
And Easter Bunny and Tooth Fairy
yeah,
and Krampus.
yeah. I'm also yeah.
Okay, so
Naturally, I'm
we
also
did get it confused. It is Rise of the Guardians, not the
nat-
Guardians.
What is the
naturally
owl
I'm
one called? I
naturally I
saw
was
it.
also a bit confused with how naturally I'm also a bit confused with the use of Guardians in movies lately. Apart from Galaxy, obviously the Galaxy has made its mark, but there was also Guardian or there was also Owls of Gahul, which I enjoyed, but that's years back.
I saw it in 3D.
But yeah, myths coming together, fighting off a more darker myth.
Yeah. I got kind of upset at the end. I feel like the enemy was a bit too intense. Although the fan fictions based off of that film have made it well worth its existence, in my opinion. I see Jack Frost as a commonly used character in a lot of artistic works.
I really like the
Right.
twist they made to his character there. He's
Yes, I recall that.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm not. I'm kind of not feeling very great, so I'm going to probably cut this short on my end. So I've had time. Uh, I
I
hope
appreciate
the
that.
rest of it goes swimmingly.
Sinkingly?
Swimming. Yes.
Oh, I'd say it's
Um.
floating. I'd say it's floating right now.
Okay, that's good.
I hope you have a floating or swimming rest, my good friend.
Thank you. To you too. Good night, everybody.
That's a round of applause for
rest well, get better soon.
uh Gabe.
So apologies for the slip up earlier. It was a mistake. He was snoring so loud.
But yeah, I really liked the fact that he's a troublemaker, but at the same time he managed to have a kid. So that was the surprise that actually made him worthy of such being on the team.
Did I fall asleep?
Huh?
Did I fall asleep?
Uh, yeah, but it's okay. Just for a little bit.
Sorry.
No, that's
I
fine.
was checking in. So that was not a bit. If I sounded funny.
It's okay. It's okay, guys. Right?
And to continue the year, of positives with the majority of advertising pretty much drowning out whatever was on the flip side of the coin. There was another film that got a lot of attention with its with how it was with what it was doing to the video game industry, as well as taking a particular concept that had been done before, just not video game wise, obviously. Uh, that would be Wreck-It Ralph.
Right.
Oh, now we're talking.
Now that movie I can talk about.
Yeah, I could
I
go
had a
on.
YouTube
Go
with
on.
it.
Yeah.
Definitely worthy of the name Roger Rabbit of video games.
I wouldn't say it's that good of a video game, but as a movie, I quite enjoyed the viewing experience, noticing characters like I remember I went there and I saw Chef Peter Piper from Burger Time, and I remember recognizing Blinky and Inky and Stinky and
Sonic.
Clyde. Oh yeah, and Sonic the Hedgehog.
I remember E-Boy.
Yeah, and Slam and Son from that one game. Oh, and what's his name? What's his name? Ralph from the Bubble Trouble games. He was actually at a cameo as well. Like you just see all of these characters um show up in Wreck-It Ralph, and that was just a viewing pleasure for the disciplined arcade gamers such as myself, spending a lot of time in those arcades back in the day. Not so much now. As a film with a plot, though, the original characters, I feel like they're worthy. They're highly worthy of that title.
Like I said, it's worthy of being the Roger Rabbit of video games, and that it's nice to see that it's nice to see those character cameos, but at the same time, there's a good story behind it.
Mm-hmm. Like I'd say, there's a good balance between that. Whenever I started to get bored of the story, I was able to like look around and I probably see like a character or something I knew. Although like that one character Cubert kind of got on my nerves a little bit. It's like he doesn't say anything, and uh I felt like that kind of slowed the pacing down a little bit.
Or at least he didn't talk in a way that was understandable.
Yeah, I don't like it when I don't understand what the characters are saying. They could have like put in subtitles or something, I think. That would have worked kind of well, I think. But regardless, I feel like there's enough positives to make up for the negatives. There were a few like weird plot holes. You can watch CinemaSins video on Wreck-It Ralph, and you notice there are some plot holes in the story, but overall, not as bad as Wreck-It Ralph 2, at least in terms of plot holes. That game. Sorry, I apologize. That movie had a lot of plot holes that I would I would proclaim that they're kind of inexcusable. I don't
Wait,
like to let sequels pull originals down, but uh, yeah, sometimes they can be better. Sometimes sequels are just better, like with Shrek. What was it? Shrek 4? Was that clipping into 2010s, or is that 2009?
that was Shrek Forever After. That was 12.
Right, right. I remember that. Yeah, so that hits the mark. I'd say that was, I mean, getting up there with the sequels, but still very solid. So I mean, it proves you can definitely have some good sequels, even getting up. Shrek 3, I feel like, oh, let's not get into the Shreks. That's the wrong decade to be talking about. You ever hear about Shrek making it into the National Film Registry? The original.
Yep.
That was exciting news, for sure.
Well, I say Wreck-It Ralph is a good. Well, I would say Wreck-It Ralph is good overall, and well, I mean it's a lot better than it's a lot better than the second one, which we will get to later. But there was one small nitpick I would like to point out. I feel we're missing a scene with Vanellope. We don't see her get captured. We only see her just disappear into the mountain, and then a skip. We see her. We only see her in prison. We don't see her get captured or something like that.
It's possible they had to cut that out for the scene with Cubert, which was kind of important. Maybe if they hadn't have included that, they would have had time for that scene. Or maybe they just felt it wasn't important. But I feel like the writing team had it together at that point. Still, who'd have thought they'd get so washed up with the sequel? Or was it a separate writing team that caused that issue?
But it was a good thing. Most of us know about. Most of us find it better to have more knowledge regarding Ralph Frost as well as Shrek, because otherwise we would have ended up with the lower end of the stick, which in that year's case actually went to two films, where the dead go to die, and Food Fight.
Food Fight. Oh my god. That was something I didn't really hear about until good old Caden Woods ripoff John Tron took a look at that. But man, they lost so much progress with that film that it's understandable how it turned out, I suppose. I just can't really see them having a chance to fix that. I don't think I could see them in any reality where they could find a way to pull that off. But the fact that they had the will to see it through to the end after losing almost everything was just that on its own is respectable. I feel it's also quite good as a bad film. I feel like a good film is a good film, and a bad film will always be watchable, and you can laugh at it and enjoy it in that sense. But a film that's just kind of sitting in mediocrity can kind of find its way into this like really boring area. Not to say those films exist for a reason. Food Fight definitely takes the spot for like a really bad animated film, especially for that era.
Like I said, there was very little in terms of advertising, or people barely even knew about it until, yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of internet people soon got word of it, soon got word of it, and yeah. All right, 2013. All right, 2013. I can say that I can safely remember. I definitely remember this year remember this year as the first time as the year I finally started going to fan conventions. There was quite a lot of returns on a Steam locomotive aspect. There was a big return on the Steam locomotive aspect, albeit in the Midwest, and and going back to the convention thing, despite a small rocky start in Las Vegas, the entire country managed to pull through, thankfully. And thankfully, similar things could be said for the animated films of that year, because one of the early ones, and it's really a shame to mention that and it's really a shame that they had to attach an Owl City song that later became part of a pony animation to it, but thankfully there's very little that has turned up since regarding the themes that we're going for, but unfortunately the year had some stingers early, and the big one definitely goes to Escape from Planet Earth.
Oh my goodness, that's My friend Gabe, he had to leave. Gabe and I were just talking about that film about a week ago. Um, it was pretty interesting. We kind of compared it to Planet 51 and Aliens in the Attic. Uh, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of weak, definitely weak compared to those two. 2013 though, that was Frozen. I remember that because Theo wasn't allowed to see that because his mom thought that the characters were lesbians. And then
Oh, how wrong
2013.
she
That was when.
was.
2013 was also Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods.
Oh yeah,
That
man.
breathed new life into the franchise.
That was that was 3D World. Mario 3D World came out that year, and boy, oh that was Despicable Me 2. That was when the sequel came out. I actually fell asleep in the theater during that one. Boy, it's not my favorite. Uh, I don't think I have a favorite because I dislike them all quite a bit. My least hated Despicable Me film might just be the first one because it still had some innocence to it. Uh, One of my favorites from 2013 was at least in terms of feature films was Dick Figures movie. When that came out, I really enjoyed that because I liked what they had to do before they made the big screen, and I feel like it's a bit underrated, all things considered.
But yeah, Frozen definitely was the big one that year. Definitely was the big one that year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was actually one of the few movies I actually saw in theaters that year.
It's obviously exploding into a big pop culture phenomenon. Certain song is stuck in people's heads.
Oh yeah.
Just let it go already. Hey, you gave me the opening, I went for it.
Hey, you gotta take your opportunities, take your L's. Oh, but 2013 that was also Attack on Titan. That's when I started watching that. I remember when that got announced. Actually, I was really excited. Although I'm not keeping up on it. This whole new season, and I'm just like ignoring it. What a good what a good fan I am. Found a poster for that show underneath a cooler at a Walmart once. They just let me have it. I don't have it on my wall though because that'd be kind of weird. I don't really like to show off my interests unless I'm truly passionate about them. And I feel like Attack is one of those where I can definitely respect it, but not really get behind it completely all the time. Oh, I actually caught the ambulance going by outside, so I can assure you through my window the ambulance is on its way, so we can be sure that guy's gonna get to the hospital on time.
Ah, that's good. One less interesting thing in terms of its impact. It obviously led to one of the more interesting stories regarding short films. How what ended how what ended up being more suited for a television special should have been released on television as opposed to in front of a hit Pixar film.
Mm. How could I have forgotten? 2013 was Teen Titans. That completely slipped my mind. I don't know how that slipped my mind. That was when Go started airing, right? 2013. Yeah. I can't 20. Oh my god. That means that there's little kindergartners running around who haven't been alive as long as Teen Titans Go. Small children. Oh my goodness.
So to 14, I managed to expand my convention inventory. Took three to convention inventory a bit. I believe, where is it? I believe, I believe we got, I believe we got some some mo- some more returns from the railvan aspect, especially big event happening in Michigan that had hadn't happened for the better part of half a decade. Hadn't happened for the better part of half a decade. I do believe though that I do believe though that animated movies at that point in time on the animated movies at that point in time once again hit an interesting year, but this time at least there were there was at least one film in the earlier part of the year that actually managed to hit the high notes. The Lego Movie.
Oh my goodness. That was a shocker. That was not taken lightly. I missed a lot of the nuances from that film when I first saw it. It wasn't until a little bit after I started to catch what it really meant, but I'd say that's a huge advancement in technology when it comes to animation. It really just goodness, the way they pulled off the look was just you can't compare it to anything. Although the video game wasn't as good, if I remember. Didn't look quite as real. I was kind of expecting a realistic Lego. I feel like even now they haven't really completely pulled that off. But it's still with Chris Star-Lord, Pratt, and who voiced the woman character?
Banks.
So, it was, uh, Jailbreak. Can't remember. That's okay.
But yeah, it was definitely a look to its own, animation style to its own, world to its own, and it kind of introduced us to an interesting take on Batman.
That Lego Batman movie really explored the character. I don't know if I went to go see that the original and the Batman, and I feel like I enjoyed the original a lot more. Batman is still watchable, I'd say, but maybe not the best out of the Lego series. I haven't seen the second one yet, unfortunately, but I had a chance to pick up the first one on Blu-ray. Didn't do that. Kind of regret that now.
You'll be thankful to know that the second one kind of lives in the same realm as the kind of lives in the same realm as the first. Kind of lives in the same realm as the first.
Hmm.
Where am I going?
And thankfully, over time, that has managed to outshell the out managed to outsmart what as managed to outsmart a attempt to as to outsmart a attempt managed to outsmart an attempt to try to bring us back into the public mind. Some somehow less superior than a live action film that came er, the year before that somehow performed a lot better.
Wait, what? Okay, so what year are we on right now?
Lego Movie, right? That would have been 2015.
2014. 2014.
Ah,
Oh, Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks. That was a good one.
Speaking of the, I was about to list my worst theatrically. That was Legends of Oz.
hmm. Can't really speak on that too much.
Again, it only takes the internet to get some knowledge of that as well. Knowledge of that, whereas not much advertising otherwise.
Hmm. 2014 was the year that the Smash Brothers game came out. I remember that. That was also the year Gentry Stein became world champion. I feel like that changed everything.
Yes, that year. Yes, that year where Mewtwo finally became part of the Smash again, albeit DLC.
Hmm. They added that DLC character that was like really shocking. Cloud Strife. That was like everyone got all excited for that. But you know that I got right on that, and now we have the new Final Fantasy character available now, and that's just maybe we could have gotten someone different, but Sephiroth is okay. I actually don't have my copy of Smash Brothers because Theo stole it from me, and he won't give it back to me. But when I get it back, I'll probably buy the DLC and play as Sephiroth.
Okay, 15. Fifth anniversary regarding friendship is magic. Arguably the biggest BronyCon we had prior to the finale, obviously. And that year was especially good for me. Especially good for me due to a local favorite of Steam Locomotion coming back, albeit near the tail end of the year. Finally got to meet Black Irvin, as well as Dr. Wolf and a few others. And from the and from the looks of it, the year and from the looks of it, the year in animation did. And from the looks of it, the year in animation seemed to once again shine, and not much into shine, and once again the entry I have regarding the flip side of the coin is that regarding the flip side of the coin was more of a internet notice as opposed to advertising, at least or at least as much I'm aware of. And I'd say the crown jewel of that year in terms of animated movies is something we actually looked back on earlier this year. The Peanuts movie.
Right. That's like right up there when I think of 2015 is Peanuts movie. I absolutely adore that film. It did practically everything right, I think. That's Illumination's one real win. I actually got to see that movie for free because I complained about the air conditioner not working when I went to go see that film. I ended up catching a chill. And that theater, once again, just mentioning that they take care of us so well. They let us see the film for free, refunded our tickets because it was so cold. Oh, and I think the movie also skipped at one point. But that's one of the reasons I want to make sure they don't go. Is that some local theaters will really take care of their guests. The Peanuts movie, oh man, I remember that even with the hiccups, that was an amazing experience. I love animation, the charm. Charlie Brown is just one of my favorite fictional characters. I can really respect that entire it just always stays on point, and um, it stays true to itself
I
even
expect.
way after.
Yeah, and I especially love the thesis that Heather has at the end regarding
Mm.
Charlie.
2015 was also Minions movie, and I feel like that's like the spin-off. That's when we really started to see the Minions kind of take their own little throne. I don't know if I can really back it, but it did spawn a lot of fun times, and I can still kind of look back on it and thank it for existing because it really helped push Minions further than Despicable Me, and it cemented them as uh, their own franchise almost.
I would like to make a bit of a correction. Peanuts was actually Blue Sky.
That's right, Blue Sky, Blue Sky. Oh, that was a misspeaking on my part. I can't really stand for elimination. Yeah, sorry. That was thanks for the correction. That's absolutely correct, viewers. I wouldn't really back elimination, but Blue Sky did. I mean, they handled a very beloved IP very well. I feel like that entire year was like a lot of IPs. That was when SpongeBob movie came out, the second one. That's actually a gift. That's what Theo got me for Christmas. He got a sealed DVD of SpongeBob out of water, and it's sitting up on my shelf. You guys can't see it. Actually, uh, here I can pull some strings here. Well, let's see here. Uh, there we go. SpongeBob movie. It's still sealed. Still got the price tag on it. February 9th, February 19th. Good year. Yeah, good film. And I'm glad to have that in my collection. It's the best family film of the year. Now, probably that probably goes to Peanuts, but good year. 2015 was that stuff. 2015 had Splatoon, which really was my gateway into shooters. Well, not actually. My gateway was uh, the original Medal of Honor. It's my gateway into Splatoon, I guess, competitive shooters, you could say. I used to play that. Oh, even from like the first year, I did some of the competitions and stuff. I had a lot of fun with that. And 2015 was Monster Musume, which kind of changed my life. And what else? It was just a good year all around. That would have been the 30th anniversary of Mario, so we got a Mario Maker.
Oh, now I'm about to make a more controversial opinion regarding one of the films that year. Unfortunately, the hype for Inside Out didn't quite live up to what I heard. It's a good movie, don't get me wrong, but I kind of wish there was a bit more intelligence in regards to the emotion characters.
Mm. I remember seeing the trailers for that and getting very excited because the plot seemed very interesting to me, especially from what the trailer portrayed the characters and everything like. But I didn't get around to seeing it. Stuff came up. I probably holed myself up in my room playing Splatoon or something, and didn't quite get a chance to see it. But after watching it like a few years later, I can kind of feel where you're coming from. It was maybe a little bit slow sometimes too. That might just be my short attention span, but I feel like it's better in premise than how it was executed.
Like I said, it is a good movie. The animation's still good. The world they create is quite imaginative, especially from that particular viewpoint. But yeah, definitely glad those two seem to outshadow, especially in the advertising department, when compared to another when compared to a film that was compared to compared to George Lucas's attempt at fantasy and something not Star Wars related, Strange Magic.
Oh my! I got so excited for that because I heard Jim Henson was behind that. Is that correct, or am I thinking of something else? Because that kind of got buried. Let me figure this out. Just need a second. Uh, yeah, this was Jim Henson. Yeah. I remember this. I respect anything that the Creature Shop works on. I think it turned out okay, but it was just buried under a lot of stuff that year. Better stuff. I don't know if it was better, but definitely uh, underrated.
That's a little weird.
What's this?
Weird. Oh boy, now for the year that oh boy, now for the year that most people don't like to look back on, 2016. I can safely say I got a bit of a yeah, safely say I somewhat got a short end of the stick when it came. Bit of a short end of the stick. Bit of a short end of the stick when it came. Bit of a short end of the stick when it came to that. Some personal things that I won't dive into. Some personal things I won't dive into. Some personal things I won't dive into. Uh, Worst election. Let's see what else can I. Let's see what else can I specifically. Let's see what else can I specifically think of that it was next or done. It was a bit of a. It was a bit of a downer.
Yeah, feel you on that. 2016 was very slow. Ooh, yeah, not my best year. That was a terrible teens, terrible. That was when I was going through the. I didn't have time for much then. That was a bad chapter. But I'll tell you, things looked up in 2017. That's when I got my life turned around. And not to mention, I had a lot of personal stuff going on in 2016 on top of everything. Definitely not much I can talk on there, unfortunately.
Oh yes, that was the third time. Third time striking me terror. I didn't quite get it, but with that said, there were a few shimmers with a few shimmers with it. A few shimmers within there. Finally got to meet AC Race Fest and Saber Spark.
I think that was right around when I started watching his stuff, around 2016. It's cool that you got to meet him.
Probably one of the best ever for Northwest's, especially since it was right off the heels of a special 5th anniversary episode from the year prior. And I do believe I managed to meet a few other great people, including the main stars of Kim Possible.
Oh wow, nice. That was an elusive bit of Disney Channel independent stuff. That whole Kim Possible kind of didn't really fit in my. I don't know when it aired, but I was still pretty young and I couldn't quite hit the airings on those episodes. So whenever I did catch anything related to that show, I was very interested. I had no idea what anything about that show was.
And unfortunately, this was another year in animation where things were kind of slow to start. Things were kind of slow to start because, unfortunately, Rob Schneider got an animated movie, Norma the North.
Oh my goodness. Now I'll tell you, that is something I can actually attest for a little bit. Well, maybe not that. Sorry, wrong usage there. My father absolutely adores that film, and I can't quite figure out what is good about it, but I can definitely tell you what I don't like about it. uh, I could go on for a very long time, but to sum it up, just so we don't hold up too much here, it had some extremely flanderized and inconsistent characters. I gotta say, the animation was just way too. It just cranked the dial on that like cartoony CG. I mean, it helps keep you engaged, but too much and it's just way too uh, unenjoyable. And then the plot just all over the place, not even really interesting to kids, I don't think. It felt like the whole way through it had no reason to exist, but then I mean, here it is. And didn't it get a sequel too? That's probably even more surprising. Oh my goodness.
We'll get to one of those later.
Oh no. I'm gonna need a bite after that. After revisiting that one.
Thankfully, also early in the year, we got one of the year's biggest hits, and of course, one of the main and of course AZ Racefest can attest to that. Zootopia.
Hmm. It's a shame Gabe had to leave. He really likes that um Zootopia. I think he's like a furry or something. But I like it. I like it a lot. I didn't get to see that one in theaters either. I think the animation was solid too.
Yes, another great commentary on another great commentary on particular life situations, as well as amongst other, amongst other things, amongst other things, definitely helps that to stand out amongst everything else that Disney has been putting out.
Mm.
All right, 17. Even though we had to put up with worst president, that things seemed to turn around a bit for me. Finally got to see local Steam star back on the main line. Finally got to meet Tara Strong, and
That's when the Milsim, the Milkfim movie came out, right? I remember that. That's I'm sure you guys have to speak a lot to speak on that. Uh, because that's kind of like your specialty. I I remember I didn't have the balls to go see it. Unfortunately, I was still easing myself into the community, but I think it's pretty solid. I think it's pretty okay. I think there were some duds. I know a couple films that I didn't quite as much enjoy, like Emoji Movie. That one was
The movie, yes, the movie where Patrick Stewart plays a piece of shit.
good, good shit, good movie. If you like that kind of stuff.
To some respect, I I kind of respect the approach they were trying to make with that character. If
I feel
you
like overall
if you
there were
watch the,
too.
if you look around for some behind the scenes material,
It kind of took cues from Wreck-It Ralph, but fell flat pretty quickly. Oh, and Boss Baby was both of those films are just pretty. I feel like Boss Baby has like a little bit to it, a little bit more to it, but I feel like both of them are very uh lows of 2017 when there were some really good highs. I didn't really go to see too many animated films in 2017, but I do recall some television animated stuff. Most notably, that's when OKKO started airing after the like all the test pilots and stuff. And that is hands down my absolute favorite television series of the decade, possibly ever. So I mean, I can always back that. I mean, that was a good year for me too. That was 2017 was when I reconnected with some old friends. I met Gabe and Theo. Switch came out. I started playing accordion then. Well, that was 2016, towards the tail end. Overall, that's when I really turned my life around after that really low emotional state I was in during 2016. Started to come out of the change and like all together, that's when stuff started to come together. Makes sense.
one last best I can say over to myself on 17. I was thankfully part of another particular finale that not too many people seem to discuss about. The original Canadian convention the original Canadian convention I used to go to in Richmond, but thankfully thankfully that was rebranded a year rebranded back in 19, and thankfully that was the only convention I managed to get under my belt for this year.
That's fortunate. That's a solid one to grab.
But yeah, as you mentioned, even though a lot of people were talking Coco that year, my magnum opus was, of course, ponies.
Yep.
I'm glad that happened. I remember a lot of discussion around ponies that year, and like I mentioned, I couldn't make it. I kind of regret it now, but it's all good. I think they'll forgive me for that one.
But yeah, really like Anthony Lee's character there, especially at a time, especially at a time where, thankfully there was mostly positives, even though another personal thing happened. But thankfully, there was a character I could understand. It was a character I completely understood. Into 18, where this cast began. Into 18, where this cast began towards the center of the year. Apart from that, we also had finally managed to get down to Rose City to add that to my convention inventory. Oh, and I also ended up oh, and an interesting highlight, I managed to revisit a place I hadn't been to in quite a long time. Like, I remember going to that place in kindergarten as a field trip, and hadn't exactly been there for a while until then.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully that year I managed to produce a number of once again solid hits for the animation industry, with the highlight for me going to Incredibles 2.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad that we get to talk about that because I'm glad you think it's a highlight too. I know a lot of people don't quite respect Incredibles 2, but I really liked it. I really liked the original. I grew up on that, and I actually went to the theater for that. Although I didn't, I started to see less films around 2018, I think, around that time frame. Maybe I started to go to more live action stuff then, at the very least. But Incredibles 2 was throughout the entire thing. I think it even gave me chills a few times, which probably just the score. Can't go wrong with that style of music. It just gets anything like that gets me going really quickly. But I mean, despite everyone kind of not everyone, a few people, notable people have trashed on it, and I can't really see where they're coming from. Superhero films were kind of animated superhero films specifically because I remember 2018. That was Batman Ninja. I actually got the the release of that like right the night it came out. I was really excited for that. Batman Ninja was crazy, and oh, Spider-Verse, of course. That might be one of my all-time favorites as well. Just superhero everything. That was I mean, Marvel had some pretty solid releases that year too. I feel like this was when superheroes were really at like the super height of their popularity. Nowadays, with the state of everything, I feel like attention's elsewhere. But superheroes had like a really good spotlight on them around this time frame. I remember liking Shazam the year after that too. And then 2018, that was Smash Bros. That was the Grinch. That was the Grinch, and then that tied together because there's the Grinch leak. And Theo and I, we stayed up. We watched the Game Awards. We had this cutout of the Grinch. I actually got it out of a project I was working on, and we actually burnt that Grinch cutout I had. It was like a little sacrifice. We went outside in the cold and we burned that thing to a crisp. And that was actually we watched the Game Awards as our sacrifice. We got Joker from Persona 5. I feel like that might have had something to do with it. Maybe not, but I can always. I didn't see this. I didn't really see the movie until after it came out. But Grinch. Uh, I kind of resent it for the Grinch leak. I did make a Grinch box. I took a box styled by the Grinch movie, the 2018 one, and fit arcade buttons and wired them up to a Raspberry Pi to play games out of it. One of my craziest little devices. I want to get my hands on like a Grinch. I wonder if they make a Grinch lunchbox. I'm gonna find that out. Uh, specifically the new one box. A tin one would be nice. Yeah.
And
Oh yeah. There is one. There is a like a metal, like an aluminum or a tin lunchbox for the Grinch. I'll have to bookmark this eBay link. Sorry about that.
now I'm remembering that during our yearly watching of the original this year, my mom reminded me that I used to have a Grinch backpack.
A Jim Carrey lunchbox. That might be even better. Jim Carrey Grinch. I have Dare Grinch, which is the PS1, the German Austrian release of the PS1 Grinch game. Dare Grinch. We played that on Steam for the Game Awards the year after, I think. Not as good luck though.
One that now we can move on to one that seems to have gotten a bit of a down downturn as time goes by, and it's strange that a lot of people are saying emoji handle it better. But in any case, my honorable mention for that year, Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Honorable? Oh, maybe Emoji did it better. Um, I I put off watching that film until it was on one time, and I was sat down and forced to watch it against my will. And maybe it wasn't the worst thing ever. Maybe I could say I enjoyed it a little bit, but I still prefer the original.
I guess
Ooh.
honestly, in terms of an internet exploring concept, honestly, in terms of an internet exploring concept as they did, I'd personally say Ralph did it. I'd personally go more for Ralph.
Yeah. I don't think Emoji you can I mean, yeah. I don't think you can really give Emoji many hands there. I wouldn't at least. What
And it,
can you say about it? It had Patrick Stewart and Ralph 2 didn't. So, I mean, some people might just straight up prefer it for that. Although you'd be a hypocrite.
and hey, Ralph was still better than the Norm of the North sequel that came that year, Keys of the Kingdom.
Okay, that was that year as well. Okay, so I guess every year has their Norm of the North then, or maybe not. Now, if they ever put out a Norm of the North 3, I don't know what I would do. I might just have to give up.
Okay, 19. As we mentioned last year, there was a last year it seemed to be quite the seemed to be quite a lot of end seemed to be a large end motif that year. Ending of one particular ending of one particular arc when it came to the MCU. We said goodbye to a lot of things, a lot of things, not just Rennicon, but also a few other personal pieces.
Mm.
And of course we got teary eyed with and of course we got teary eyed with the MLP series finale. And yeah.
2019. That's the year that I can
Oh,
look back and
oh yeah, I
say,
forgot. There's also oh yeah, I forgot. Also the end of the Skywalker saga.
oh yeah, that's exactly what I was going to lead into in a sense, because that was the start of our little YouTube endeavor. Well, Alpha Club had been going for a little bit. Like we never really went public with it on YouTube until 2019 when we started to see our success, and that's when we were able to reach out to you guys after being fans for a while. Being able to have these connections is just amazing. That's I remember we did the whole Skywalker saga recap, sort of taking a look at the final film, and I really enjoyed that. It's just like, man, 2019, not as not as horrible as 2020. It's in recent memory. It's like, was that really only last year, or is it? You can either say, was that already last year, or was that only a year ago? I don't think you can say much more. 2019, it just feels like it's blink away, and then something you mentioned something, and it feels like it's been much longer.
For many
Like
of the
Spies in Disguise. I remember a lot of buzz around that in 2019, and I suppose it was 2019, but it feels like it was a lot less time than that. Like it felt like it was this year.
well to many thankful well to many looking back think well to many looking back that could be considered a bit of a blessing in disguise of sorts considering the endings we got Ending's forgotten how this year has pretty much gone. That said, in the on the animation side of things, we've definitely got mostly 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 hits. One of the even though the magnum opus I've listed here was technically released on Netflix, and we actually looked at that earlier this month.
Yeah, that was actually on my list as well.
But yeah, Close was definitely a Close I would definitely put at the top.
I haven't had a chance to see that. I feel a little bit embarrassed here to be out of the loop. You can't catch them all, I guess. It's still up there, right? I'm still allowed to go back and watch it after this, right?
No, you you can't. You lost a chance at it.
Oh, darn. Oh boy, 2019 was not a year I used not Facebook. It was not a year I used Netflix at all. I think I might have actually stopped paying for it. I still do. I still pay for the DVD thing though. So, like, I've been an adopter of Netflix since they were doing the VHS tapes. And then I get grandfathered in. You know, I get to have 5 DVDs, and I pay a lot less than most people just because I got the plan back then.
Yeah, like for one of my negatives for 2019, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution.
Oh, that I did catch, and I thought it was a good for Pokemon. It was good. I I fell out of Pokemon in Sun and Moon. I didn't keep up with it competitively. I beat the game in 2 days when it came out, and so after that, I really stopped caring about Pokemon. After that, I fell out of it. But anything that came back to Gen 1 or like that era, that would have been like Generations, stuff like that. I was just glad to see something Gen 1, maybe not even Gen 1, but just like the older stuff. I'm
Yes, let's literally take the first movie and use crappy CG.
yeah, the visuals were not ideal. I have the entire first 2 seasons. Was it seasons or whatever? That'll be up to when he challenged the Elite Four. So I have the first bit, and then in Indigo League, I have all of that on VHS, and I'd much rather just go back and watch that.
In the Indigo League and Orange Islands, I think that would be like the first 2 seasons, really.
Yeah, I've got all of those. Maybe missing 1 or 2 tapes because I just got them from thrift stores and stuff. But
Uh,
I have them all on a shelf, and I like to look at them in a row because Pikachu is a little bit different on every spine. Slightly different pose. Makes you feel, even though it isn't the case, it makes you think you could play them all in a row and like play a sequence of animation or something. I gotta say, spines that have like a continuing piece of art. I feel like manga and DVD sets are the only types of media that do that, where you can line them all up with the spines and then they'll make something.
Honestly, I would call Arctic Dogs my. Honestly, I would call Arctic Dogs the real stinker of 2019. Why the heck would you rip off Zootopia?
Arctic Dogs was
Only one
uh-oh.
trailer. That's all I remember. That's all I know of advertising.
Let's see. I knew about it because when you see something like that, I feel like it gets around in certain communities that'll talk about it more. Arctic Dogs, Rock Dog did it better. Arctic Dogs had some very flawed plot lines. I actually did see it and didn't quite like the plot that much. Didn't really like the characters are fun to look at, I guess. I like cartoony stuff like that.
But as the exploded internet critic community has critic internet community has obviously enforced, visuals aren't always everything.
Yeah. I'd sound pretty silly if I rated everything just on how it looked. I think I probably would have put Minions on like my number one spot because that is undeniably the highest tech graphics and visuals you could ever see in a film. Okay, maybe not that one, but I feel like graphics are art and graphics are two different things. If it's nice to look at, yeah. If it's I feel like people can get very easily confused between high quality and like artistically valuable, and I feel like that's even worse in games. Like the video game scene, you'll get a game that has like a really nice art style and just plays horribly. I feel like that's even worse because that feels like you're cheated out. You can see a really nice looking movie, go see it, and realize the plot's bad. But if you buy a game, then you're stuck with that. You don't just have to watch it. You have to engage with it, which is even harder, in my opinion.
And diving in between this, where I can list two films that definitely definitely close in regards to honorable mentions. We had Lego Movie Part 2, which thankfully worked in it, which thankfully stuck to the realms that it's pretty much set up, and also and again went to a powerful message that again went to a powerful message that again works within the context of the movies.
I need to catch up with Lego 2. I missed it. I did try to watch it once on a YouTube video, but it ended up playing like a really high pitched like tone, and it actually messed up my speakers and hurt my ears really bad. So I don't really Google full movies on YouTube anymore.
The things people would do to try to bypass DMCA.
It was only like a minute long, but I didn't notice it. I didn't listen to the whole minute of ear piercing music or sound. It's like one pitch. It had like this imagery though. It made me really upset. Is it on? It's on Netflix, right? I could probably find it on Netflix. One of
Most
these
likely.
regions. I got the VPN, so I'll track it down and catch up, so we can talk Lego Movie 2 next time we're here.
And the other one that goes, other one sandwiching between the good bread and the moldy bread, so to speak. Once again took a decade, but Frozen got a sequel, or half a decade, but Frozen got a sequel.
I remember people getting all worked up about that, especially around this area. Everyone's crazy about it. That is definitely that's like a half rotten egg, like something like that. In between. I can't say I've seen the entire thing yet, as well. Man. Like I said, I kind of quit seeing theatrical releases around that point. But I do
Yeah,
remember seeing a lot of merchandise. Oh boy. You can still find a ton of merchandise in like our local stores and stuff because where we're at, stuff kind of shows up like a year after when it's popular. We're not really like our whole town is just really behind the times, so we're still getting like new Frozen 2 merchandise. Not just for Christmas.
Yeah, unlike the first one, I didn't see Frozen 2. Partly because, and partly because it's a Disney sequel. Those usually aren't that good.
Yeah. I don't know if I can support Frozen knowing that it's gonna get a lot of revenue. Uh, anyways, maybe it's all those like weird YouTube videos that kind of ruin the whole thing for me. You see a couple 100,000 or so of those weird Elsa videos, and it kind of ruins it for you. I think. No, I'm not saying I've watched 100,000, but I definitely know that many easily exist.
Well, I like to find kind of worked within the realms of the world what was set up in the first one.
Yeah, kudos to the first one.
Yeah.
Anyway, final notes sandwiched in between the again fresh bread and the multi bread was the Adams Family movie that came out that year.
Oh boy, I was gonna see it. I was actually excited, and uh, I actually knew some people interested in seeing that one. But the YouTube trailer was really loud, and I got it a whole bunch, and I started to get really angry at it because every time I was trying to watch a YouTube video, the ad was like way louder, and it was like you couldn't skip it. So I decided I didn't want to see it after that.
I think if you ignore the advertising, it's actually pretty good. There's quite a lot of nods to previous interpretations. The guy who directed it is I know the guy who directed it from years of working in Thomas, and also now that I've seen the behind the scenes material, he's actually a fan of the Adams, so
Was it
that
Brenner?
was a plus. Greg Tiernan.
Oh, okay. I remember watching the original Adam stuff a while ago, and I definitely like the art style and the character designs. I'm willing to take a look at it when I get the opportunity for that one as well.
Yeah, and Isaac was surprisingly unrecognizable with the with the performance he took. You don't hear Poe Dameron. You hear someone from a foreign country, and
Mm.
that surprisingly fits.
It's always interesting when uh, live action actors take voice acting roles because it can be a gamble, I think. But I uh, I don't know. That's something that I can't really name any off the top of my head. There have been quite a few good ones.
Now to this year, and it's a bit and unfortunately, I haven't heard of anything as of late regarding, say, the dark side of the coin. But on the on the plus side, thankfully there were some movies that managed to perform decently at the box office, and a bit of a surprise with my top of the list that so, somehow it didn't do well upon original release, but it's gotten a bit of a following over streaming. But I've did manage to get, but I did hear a lot of word about it, and thankfully with the quick home media releases, I was finally quick home media releases, I was able to see it.
Mhm.
Picture Holland and Pratt as two suburbia-esque elves. Onward.
Oh boy, I gotta admit that I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. It hit me in a spot where I wasn't quite sure if I was gonna like it at first, but it was very quick for me to realize that I was going to enjoy it. "2020 is just like the whole era, the whole thing going on here. I can't say I kept up on animation a ton. Can't say I watched a lot of them because I don't really keep on up with films unless they show up in the theaters. I did go to see one in the theater. If I can remember what it is. I think it was. I want to say it was Empire. It was Empire. I got to see Empire in a flashback cinema promotion. That was the only film I saw this year. Maybe not. Maybe not the best example.
But yeah, it was quite creative with its quite creative with its premise. Went pretty deep on a philosophical matter. And Pratt and Holland worked surprisingly well together.
I feel like the characters were really the strong point. The seeing them kind of evolve throughout the film was something you don't see a lot in the Pixar films. Like there's definitely character evolution, but it doesn't really feel like that 3D. It feels like it's kind of flat. I feel like with that film, it worked very human-like. It made sense and it was enjoyable all the way through.
I'm going to list this on honorable mention since it was released recent, despite the fact that it was released recently and I haven't seen it yet. But I'm hearing some good things about Soul.
So we
What?
were actually having a discussion about that. Thea, Gabe, and I were in a Minecraft game and we were playing it. We were joking about Soul. None of us have seen it, so we were just kind of joking about it. Theo doesn't seem to be interested in it that much. Uh, Gabe was defending it against Theo, and I'm just kind of sitting in the middle where I don't have a strong opinion on it, but I'll see it when I get the chance. You've seen it though, right? What do you? What's your thoughts on it?
Hopefully, I can find a chance, despite the fact that much of the things released this year have been digital.
Mm-hmm. That's rough. I had to write. I actually wrote a paper on that. English, kind of talking about that. I feel like it's really affected us. At least these films, the digital. I'm not for it. I'm honestly not really that for it, but it just has to be that way. Scoob had that release. I remember that was the first notable one. Was Scoob got canceled to be put on digital, and then Trolls was put digital as well. And I don't remember if Sponge on the Run was or not, but I didn't watch that because I didn't want to support. I mean, it looks amazing visually, but I don't really want to support what they're trying to do with the series. The one that I definitely went out of my way to watch was the new Phineas and Ferb, Candace against the Universe. That one I went out of my way to check out.
I definitely remember hearing quite a bit about that one.
Boy, I remember when Train Boy found out about it like a whole week after it was announced, or a whole 2 weeks or something like that. It was enjoyable to see him become quite enamored with it. Myself, I enjoyed it. I think anything by those guys, Swampy Marsh, Dan don't remember his last name. I'm sorry, Dan, but they're great.
I know who you're talking about. I follow him on TikTok,
Ooh,
and
he's a
he's the
TikTok.
voice of the words. Ah, the evil jingle. Ah, the festival was so loud I can't even hear my own eagle jingle. Okay, guys, from the top, louder.
Nice. I liked how they implemented him in Milo. I thought that was really cool. And you can't go wrong with Weird Al.
Of course.
Nope.
So, so it's kind of hard to tell. But what do you would most of you like to see in the future in terms of animated movies?
Boy, for me, I'd like to see an effort to get 2D animation to stand out more, because it's been shown that it can be. I feel there's a really strong push for television series, or in this case streaming services having their own series. But I mean, you saw that with like Rick and Morty. You saw that with that Solar Opposites as well. Like some of those like getting really popular despite not really airing on television. But I like to see more like not just 2D animation done in Flash or whatever they're using now. I want to see like Spider-Verse. I mean, I know that's not really completely 2D, but that it's a hybrid almost. I feel like if there's more experimentation done, there, because stuff doesn't have to be like put out in theater and like make a whole bunch of money. They can afford to put these out on streaming services and experiment more. And I want to see a bigger push for feature length animation that is either hybrid or more 2D, or even stop motion, or something that's similar to stop motion. Because I know that there are I mean, you see it with the Lego Movie. You've seen it with Pengu CG stuff, like that's in the city or something. They can pull off many different styles now with the advanced computer graphics, and they can pull off amazing stuff with hybrid technology, and even just like classic hand drawn. I'd love to see more experimentation and less corporate greed and like marketing. I want to see that like respect for people who really do enjoy the films more so than just go to see them because they want to shut their kids up.
It's only funny you mentioned corporate greed because surprisingly, Emoji is the only Sony Pictures animation thing I have on my list, and we all know how pretty much they've pretty much been handled.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Colin? What would you like to see in the future of animated movies?
I'm not sure. Uh, it's like I don't really watch a lot of movies, so it's like I don't really have many like uh more stuff that isn't written for complete idiots. I some more smart writing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Intelligent plot lines are essential because films have a lot more impact than a lot of people realize. Films shape us, television shapes us, especially at a young age when we're very impressionable. And I feel like younger audiences really do connect with these films more so than adults realize. And by dumbing stuff down, we're really dumbing down our messages to the youth, and more intelligent writing could really improve, and more intelligent animation, humor, stuff like that. It doesn't really matter what aspect you're going for if you put effort into making it something you would enjoy or something that you would. That's the thing. Maybe it's the creators nowadays, the people that are making these films, not just corporations doing this to get money, but writers and whatnot might be the kind of people who grew up with some of the more dumbed down stuff. They're getting to that age where it's a whole nother generation of media. It's completely different. And it's just going to be a feedback loop of people getting inspired by mediocre subpar films and then going on to making their own. I feel like we need to see more breakout and more independence, and hopefully that will reach enough people that way that we won't lose quality.
Yeah.
All right. So now to get to all right. So now to get to the thing I mentioned earlier. I was gonna earlier. I once earlier of moving the news notes to the other side. Other side, especially if there are guests about other side, especially if there are guests about. So now I can finally get to that part. This first cluster is going to be mostly sports related, but they still, but still worth noting. In Formula One, Lewis Hamilton equaled Michael Schumacher's record after winning seventh title. Scott Dixon was this year's IndyCar champ, and Takuma Sato was the Indianapolis 500 winner. Jimmy Johnson finished his last year in the Cup Series in the top 20. Chase Elliott was the champion. Chase Elliott was the champion, and we had 20 Mustang wins.
I can't really say I follow racing that much, but where I'm from, you'll see a lot of that. You see a lot of fans, a lot of cocktail shrimp.
My congratulations go to Toyota for winning this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans. Also to this year's Triple Crown winners, Authentic and John R. Vela Cuis, Swiss skydiver and Robbie Alvarado, and Tis the Law and Manuel Franco. Moving over to entertainment, Spider-Man 3 reportedly bringing back Martin Starr and Hannibal Buress.
Who did they play? It's like they're bringing back so many people. They're bringing it, or is that, or are they new people? There's so many people involved with Spider-Man 3. It's hard to keep track. You know.
Big team.
Unfortunately, there's currently no word on plans for JB Smooth's Mr. Dell. Among actors studio currently considering for a male BIPOC. Michael K. Williams, Nathan Martella White and Marwin Kenzari. Gail Goddard confirms she wasn't part of Snyder's Justice League reshoots.
Oh man, the Snyder cut. That's something we should have mentioned. It's not really animation,
The
but
Snyder Cut.
looking forward to it. Shame it has to take this long to come out. Man,
I don't think that's a bit too surprising since it was revealed she was not a fan of Jaws.
speaking of projects that take a long time to come out, Theo and I, and kind of in private, I think it's okay to mention it now, is the good old Project Monkey. We don't really want to mention it too much, keep it on the down low, he knows that, but that'll probably be in 2021 as well. Can't really bring out too many details on that one. It's kind of like our Snyder Cut equivalent, honestly. About the same time frame as well.
The late Bozeman has thankfully recorded dialogue for multiple What If episodes. So no worries regarding that.
Now, I suppose I could share a few details about Project Monkey. We haven't really brought it up to everyone. Not a lot of people know, but that'll be. I mean, Codename Project is actually an ALF cast, similar to what you guys have got going on. Would be our own podcast type of scenario, and it's in the works. I'm not really sure how we're gonna pull it off yet, but I feel like it'll be a lot of fun. Maybe we could even have you guys on someday. We've got a lot of big ticket names planned already. Big appearances. So be great to have you guys too.
Let's see what comes up. Book of Boba Fett confirmed as a spin-off of The Mandalorian. New logo revealed. Apparently, Warner Brothers wanted to change the first Wonder Woman's ending.
No?
Jenkins revealed that.
Colleges, also experiment. I helped experiment. Also started to teach nationally to but lots of some sculpt. Trying to find the pitch, which is constant like a bumble.
Giancarlo Esposito has teased future appearances as Moff Gideon, following season 2 of The Mandalorian.
There's new Mandalorian Lego set coming out. I'm gonna have to get. I don't usually buy Legos anymore. I think it's got like some kind of speeder, something like that. I think it was leaked.
Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf teaser unveils the anime's official logo. Fisher believes Whedon brought Avengers Age of Ultron resentment to the League reshoots. Talks with Jim Lee about finishing Zack's story in a comic book. Simu Liu under fire for deleting tweets criticizing Mark Wahlberg after joining his Shang-Chi film. Knuckles confirmed for Sonic 2 and production expected to kick off next May.
Knuckles.
That's not right at all. It's Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Oh man, they screwed it up. I don't know. That's not good. Sonic movie release date is also the day of love, and also the day Isaac Collins' birthday party, and also his death occurred. I mean, he died then, and he died again yesterday when he proposed to his now fiance. But Sonic movie with Knuckles, that would be kind of neat to see. Anyways, like I feel like I can accept their blunder there with the numbering, because I bet you he'll have a cowboy hat, and I'm going if there's a cowboy hat on his head.
Sonic OVA.
Yeah, you better have the cowboy hat, or I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick it. I'm gonna go outside the theater. Wait, if they release it digitally, I don't know how far in the future this is gonna be, but if that's a digital release, I don't know where I'm gonna pick it.
Well, thankfully this hasn't been the only time in adaptation that two established characters are introduced in one sitting. Quote from Margot Robbie regarding Suicide Squad plans to move regarding Warner Brothers plans to move New Year's slate to HBO Max. We know people who have brilliant relationships with that are very talented, friendly, and a responsible for the incredible reputation has had over the past decades, as well as predominant tone for the studio. Hopeful that this will work itself out and that runners will do right. All we can do is come back to, why are we doing this in the first place? If we were money-oriented people, we'd probably be working in a different industry.
Mm-hmm.
So, Palm Clementieff on board as Mantis for Love and Thunder.
Okay.
Exorcist sequel in the works from Halloween 2018 director Dave Gordon Green. How long until the Elvis strikes back again is a question I'm kind of racing regarding that. Kevin Feige, strong supportive regarding streaming in the future for the MCU. MGM looking to sell this entire film and TV studio. Due to a clash with Warner Bros. Over release, Jenkins is unsure whether she'll return for Wonder Woman 3.
So it's gonna be a Wonder Woman 3. I didn't know that was confirmed.
Question Steinfeld regarding her casting in the MCU. Honored to be a part. Trying to get somewhere, and a couple pictures were taken, and now here we are. So excited, and obviously to be a part of the MCU, we'll be playing alongside Jeremy. Good for her. No imminent plans in place for a Birds of Prey sequel.
Birds of Prey. Do I even recall that? Oh yeah. Birds of Prey. Now I get it. That one. I don't know. That's I don't know if I'm happy about that. I guess I haven't really completely enjoyed a lot of the DC stuff.
Yeah, it's I. My stance on DC versus Marvel is DC can have the animated shows, Marvel can have the live action shows. Or
Mhm.
movies, whatever.
Yeah. A lot of the DC animated stuff is superb. I mean, Marvel does everything pretty well. Even like the Netflix original stuff, I like that too. Can't really think of anything animated that I completely enjoyed. So that's actually a really good stance to take on that. Makes me excited to see what they'll be doing in the future.
Endgame directors to helm the Electric State adaptation starring Millie Bobby Brown.
Oh yeah, it's Stranger Things. I remember her. I really liked the cast in that show. Finn Wolfhard. He appeared in a Super Mega video, and that's one of my favorites of theirs.
New hybrid shot of Jeffrey Wright's enigmatic youth. You went, you went to the winter for what if?
Hmm.
The battle between Legendary and Warner Brothers could see Dune receive a traditional theatrical release. Thankfully, he's not with the studio anymore, but it turns out an exec wasn't exactly on board with Bradley Cooper's performance as Rocket.
Hmm.
Army of the Dead prequel wraps production. Daphne King hopeful that Deadpool 3 will lead to a return as X-23 in the MCU.
Oh, I liked I liked that character in Logan. I wasn't expecting that for MCU though. That's what the Warner Brothers buyout, right?
Expect an MCU-themed musical performance for New Year's Eve. Well, thankfully for our friends at ALF, there's a new 2D film coming out by the name of Cap a Mahu.
Ah. Oh, yeah. Actually, hype. Actually, hype mode activated for that one. That's like something to look forward to. I actually definitely know what that is. But unfortunately, we've reached a point where I am gonna have to go take care of meds for everyone. It's medication time, like 4. So since it's 4, I'm gonna have to go, unfortunately, because don't want anyone to you know have a heart attack or anything. That would be bad. I'm pretty sure Theo might have dozed off a little bit towards the end here, so I'll figure out a way to get him out of here.
Once again,
But for me,
once
I
again,
am super glad to have been able to join you guys. You reached out to us, and I am greatly thankful for that. I have been very much so lacking in enjoyable activities, and this is one of those things. Hearing from you guys definitely brings some light into my month, my week, whatever it happens to be.
like I said, I'm definitely glad to have moved the news bites towards afterwards, because given limited time with guests and such, it would work better this way.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good format. When Project Monkey gets going on, we would love to have you guys. I know Theo and Gabe would absolutely return that sentiment. And I think I've covered everything. This was like super fun to go over a lot of these movies I kind of forgot about. And how do I pop this out? Discord has been a little funky. It's nice to not be the one in charge of, streaming and recording and making sure everything's working. It's fun to kick back sometimes as well. I'm gonna have to. He's probably not heard anything being there. Actually, maybe next time we can explain his funky little name. But for now, guys, I'm gonna go. So thanks a ton for having me. Thanks for ton for having Alpha Club. Subscribe to if you're here from our Discord, from our area. Subscribe to Rail Pony. Alex is a very cool guy, and I will just do a little chat here. This is the only one and only. How about that? One and only Alpha Club account. And now that post has been put in the live chat, you can go ahead and check out our channel. We would love to have you guys if you enjoyed our company. That's, if you did, we're here. We're always around. We're sticking around for good. So hop over to our channel for more of whatever you'd call what we've just done to these guys' stream today. Right. Goodbye, friends.
Okay, continuing on. Snyder shares his take on what he. Here's what Snyder has to say regarding the DCEU versus MCU. Apparently he loves that they decided to kind of embrace the personality. think that there was always some sort of criticism and or the middle step. What's the middle step?
Hmm.
Trying to be like more well trained to do your own thing. Like, what do you do? You kind of look into this very specific trajectory where I think and hope the idea is that it's filmmakers first, where it's basically what the multiverse allows for. During his work on Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League, there were animated films that had nothing to do with what they were doing. TV shows that also had nothing to do. No way to seam those up without alienating a fandom by saying Flash doesn't count. Show doesn't mean anything. That was just never going to happen. Due to the shows and animation becoming popular. The Nolan movies had another tone and other universe, obviously.
Hmm.
No way it was ever going to be like, okay, we're just going to say those things don't exist now, and it's this. Yeah, it's glad it's kind of settling into a much more diverse approach. Quotes from Darrison regarding not returning for the sequel. Hard creative choices this year, but I swore after making The Day the Earth Stood Still that I would never again find myself end of somebody else's movie, and I'm sticking. Don't think it's the producer's job to blindly back everything a director wants. Critical that both director and producer want the same film. And he seems to trust Sam Raimi with the sequel. Well, Lucasfilm's considering a Luke Skywalker series following his return to The Mandalorian. More concept art from Episode 9 reveals a twisted take on Palpatine and a return to Coruscant. Jeez, there was a lot of revisions. Probably should have thought as well. He was still around, but WW3 not confirmed, but hopes for closure. Although the scoring recently for the new film is not good. Furiosa film is landing a 2023 release. New vinyl statuette of Velvet from Them's Fighting Herds available for pre-order.
Oh, really? Can you put a link in the Discord? After we're done, okay? Or maybe it's on EQD. I don't know. I've been all over the place today.
It's on EQD.
Okay. Never mind then.
We're gonna get some female Diamond Dogs in the comics. Schooner's parents in the issue 93 previews. Ab is India to make a return in, also.
Hmm.
Ooh, do we have any Among Us players out there? We've got a pony texture mod. finally we get our celebrity passings for this week. One of them is going to be a bit of a throwback, but can't quite remember if I mentioned it. We have Tuck Tucker. Rebecca Luker. According to her resume, she was in Mary Poppins. Artist John Outerbridge. Cartoonist Dorothy Henry. Ferrari's Romolo Tavoni. Lee Wallace from the '89 Batman film. Nedwin, grandson of Edwin. And again, really not sure if I mentioned this previously, but James Lipton. Tucker, by the way, was animator who worked on SpongeBob as well as Hey Arnold.
Hmm.
Let's see. On a personal note, obviously, since it's at the time at least, it's only the second day after Christmas. Got that calendar I mentioned earlier. A new Luna shirt. This interesting shirt that has the you know that logo that scrolls whenever something's loading. It's combined with the text "I'm thinking."
Ah.
So that'll be a fun shirt to wear. Got the latest edition of the Ticket to Ride board game. Couple of Cutie Mark Crew small toys. Got that razor I mentioned earlier. I never mentioned it until, well, when I got it, but I've been meaning to kind of get. I've been partially meaning to get back into wearing wristwatches, and thankfully, family down south, and at in some cases to the east, was actually able to send one. And it's an interesting case. The clicker has a train running. Let's see, apart from the binge watching, I also got some yearly watchables out of the way. Or the rest of my yearly watchables.
Uh, uh, but yeah, it's like, okay, what did I get? I got some socks, some bow ties, a few sets of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, ten $10 Nintendo eShop card. Uh, Probably think about wrapping up soonish because it's like 1:20 and uh,
I already knew it was going to be lengthy given the large list we had to go down.
yeah.
But yeah, it was great breaking the breaking most of the silence we've had most of the year, breaking most of the silence we had most of the year. Hopefully they'll get in a better position for certain aforementions.
Yep. Oh yeah, I also created a virtual avatar for VTubing because I figured like, hey, that's in right now. Why not try that out?
But hey, January's coming again, and you all know what that means.
My birthday. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna announce the theme.
Oh,
Aardman Month. So yeah, it's gonna be great. So yeah, it's gonna be great to dedicate another January to another foreign studio. Until which, stay safe, stay well. Hope you all have a happy new year, and we will see you 2021. Take care.
See